Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hello. We should have more light shortly as the sun comes up. I thought we could hang out. Gotta advertise my wares. Yeah, we didn't get to a lot of the questions on Sunday, and there's new information coming out. Hello, everybody. Grab a seat, grab a cup of coffee. You may want to know which is my favorite coffee. Anybody like me getting up nice and early? I got up very early. I got up at something like 2:30 in the morning. I did 2:30 in the morning, and that was because I am still on Israel time. I still cannot get over how amazing the hotel was in Dubai. It was absolutely beautiful. Now, they say if you fly first class, you have such a great time. You keep thinking, I got to get back to first class. Well, that's how I feel about staying in a 5-star hotel in Dubai. Oh my gosh. Never have I ever. Absolutely great. Anyway, so I thought we would come together, do the empath prayer, and then get to everybody's questions regarding latest stuff that's in the news. As many of you know, it's come out that Joe Biden has an aggressive form of prostate cancer, and that it has metastasized to the bone. It's interesting that when I had looked at his energy, I hadn't seen Alzheimer's or anything like that. I had actually seen that his energy was increasing. Wands are energy cards. They have to do with things like fire and heat. Like in Chinese medicine, we think of our immune system as the triple heater, or the ability to mount a fever, right? So, when I think about the Three of Wands, I think about the triple heater, because I do see a lot of Chinese medicine in the tarot cards. As many of you know, I'm a medical intuitive. I started off as a medical intuitive. I could sense or feel things that were going on in people's bodies, and then I decided that I would study medicine, and I became a massage therapist first. And then I got interested in energy medicine from that. I was always interested in the tarot. And then I started studying Silva mind control and various types of remote viewing. Excuse me. So, today I'm dusting. After I get done with you guys, I'm going to put on some very nice music, and I'm going to clean this home so that it is like a Buddhist sanctuary, which is so good for your mental and cognitive health. But the dander is really pretty high. I've been gone for 3 weeks. So, yeah. So good to see you all. Good morning, Teresa. Hi, Mara Colon. Good to see you here as well. Thank you, Teresa, for your membership. I do appreciate it. All right. Let's go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer. And let's blitz away and see if we can get any more information about Joe Biden's health. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. So the first question people had was if I could please look at Joe Biden's health. Is he going to be okay? Um, I felt that his immune system, that he was actually doing better after contracting COVID. I felt like he was exhausted while he was the president, and that it didn't look like classic Alzheimer's. It looked more like just physical exhaustion. And if he was battling cancer, that would also explain a vulnerable immune system and extreme fatigue. Hi, Renee. Hi, Ari. Good morning, Aria. Hi, Wendy. Well, I guess, on the East Coast, it's 9 in the morning, so it's not really early. And in Europe, it's not early. Excuse me. All right, so we're just going to look at how Joe Biden's health is going to be in the next couple of days. Yeah, I want to get the dust and the cat hair. I can see it accumulating under the bed. That's where she likes to sleep. But once I do it and then I run the air filter, within another 2.5 hours, I'll be feeling better. All right, Mr. Joe Biden. Family secrets. So he didn't want to worry people. He didn't want to upset people. That his energy was low. He was not feeling well. There was also that they had found something about 2.5 months ago or so in, excuse me, in an exam, according to what I can pick up in the remote view, about 2.5 months ago, they had found something suspicious, and then they had scheduled a biopsy, and it was kept from people in order not to alarm them. The 10 of Pentacles is a card that denotes keeping family secrets, and it's also family inheritance. We sometimes inherit beautiful things like wealth, but the dark aspects of the 10 of Pentacles is when you have to start keeping secrets from your family, or you've got a dirty little family secret about the creepy uncle or whatever. So every card has a positive aspect and every card has a negative aspect. The most negative aspect of the 10 of Pentacles is that everybody's smiling, but you've got spying going on. And what are they up to? And this one's hiding. So there's also always going to be an element in the 10 of Pentacles of feeling that something is up, or that you have, we inherit the skeletons, our ancestors, for good or for bad. And we all have saints and sinners as ancestors, right? Excuse me. And then the karma card for him is the 5 of Swords, which would indicate, in the case of medical, that it would be a successful surgery. And that is because when it comes to health issues, Swords can govern surgery. Now they're doing it with robots. So it's precision. It's precision. It goes in, and like moles cutting that they do with skin cancers, but it's a very precision type surgery they do now with these robots. And the fact that a 5 of Swords, sorry, something's setting me off. The fact that a 5 of Swords is there is very auspicious. I'm just going to get a tissue. Hold on a second. I love you, kitty. I love my cat, I do. But sometimes it is a bit much. Okay, so It would indicate that it was kept a secret, it was a family secret, and that the problem will be dealt with. So that is the first thing about Joe Biden. And then the first house is two of, excuse me, two of wands, strong partnerships. His crossing card is Page of Swords, truth. Again, surgery, precision, truth, Archangel Michael, who is oversees surgery. Sitting in a state of confusion. Huh, that's interesting. It would indicate that it may be taking a mental toll on him. So, illness, this crash and this illness, moon card, and the seriousness of his situation. It looked like he was working very hard on his biography, which I understand he would want to finish it before he passes. And I think he's 82 now. But this confusion and this tower, like a feeling that it impacted his health and that his health could be coming for a crash. I do feel this is auspicious, though, the Five of Swords coming in, which would indicate that, now my lungs cleared. I love her. What can I tell you? Hey, Mila, you want to say hi to your friends? You're going to stop shedding all over my bed? I'm going to have to wash those sheets. I haven't done that yet. Do you feel ashamed or guilty about what you have done to your mother? Look at all that fur coming off of her. She is just loaded up. That's her second coat. That's her spring coat. Yeah, so she's getting a laundering, unfortunately. All right, so a little bit of confusion and this concern about a crash coming up over Biden. He's coming out of Chariot. This is an energy maybe because he was running and then he stepped back and running. Chariot is literally to run a race. And in politics, it's to run a race. So he was running a race. So, basically what it looks like happened to Joe Biden was that it was too much. He had a very long career. He had a couple bouts of COVID. He was under tremendous amount of stress. Most men, if they live long enough, will get prostate cancer. Those are the statistics, but it's usually slow growing. You also have this energy of stress here, or the Chariot, get up and go, go, go. All those things are stresses that can have an impact on hormones, etc. And also this moon card could indicate that the crash or that there was some kind of a mental impact. And then what he's coming into now is slow down or has to stop. This was somebody who Joe Biden was seen or is seen as somebody that burnt the candle at both ends for a very, very long time. But he still wanted to or wants to enjoy his life, enjoy his chocolate chip mint ice cream. Was that turned out to be his favorite? So that's a pretty good one. I think the vanilla chocolate chip is better. I don't know if I need the mint, but so you have this energy coming in of a Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is a gap stop in the cards. It's earth energy, and it's like a Clydesdale. It's a very slow energy. Oh, hi, Colin. Good to see you here. Hi, Queen Bee. Hi, Cherry. Hi, Susan. Jiggy Pardo. So, and then over his seventh house is to leave everything. So this is to pack up and leave everything. It's interesting that it was kept from the public for a while, that they had concerns, that they wanted to do an autopsy, that they were very concerned 2.5 months ago. So this was likely that he was having symptoms. They ran some tests. Then they saw something suspicious. This was all happening towards the end of his term. And you can see that 8 of Cups, moving into seventh position, which is the immediate environment. So this is somebody that you can see very clearly if you were to do a profile on Joe Biden, that he felt a crash. It had an impact on him emotionally. He had to stop everything he was doing. He was racing, go, 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 and then Knight of Pentacles. He kept secrets regarding maybe he didn't want to alarm people until they knew more about his situation with the Ten of Pentacles. The situation will be dealt with successfully. Five of Swords, which is to remove the weapons of war from your enemies. His opposition at this time is the world. This is somebody who feels, perhaps, if he had only been 10, 15, 20 years younger, that this is somebody who felt called to be of service to the world and feels maybe not entirely happy with the direction that the world is going in. Yeah, so it's me and you against the world. His opposition is the world. He's got the whole world in his hand, kind of and he has to leave it. So this is, he goes from being the president of the United States, who's got the whole world in his hand, to literally having to walk away from everything with that 8 of Cups moving into seventh position for Joe Biden. He has to come to terms with his own mortality with the Knight of Pentacles. And the hope and the fear for him at this time, his own mental capacity. So he also has to accept the fact that I may not be all there. Having the wisdom to say, I might not be all there. 7 of Cups in the clouds, confused, disoriented, sitting in lunacy, worried about a crash. My body is falling apart. And so what happens when your body is falling apart? Your mind starts to fall apart because all the energy has to go to healing your organs, right? To feeding the cancer if you've got cancer, to fighting a virus if you've got a virus, right? Hi, Dog Mom. So what happens is that his body is fighting viruses, it's fighting cancer, it's fighting all this stuff, and then very little energy is left over for brain function. That's why when you get COVID, I became evil and cruel and horrible. I felt so bad the way I was talking to my friend Francis. It's like, leave me alone. It's like a demon. It's like this Frankenstein energy takes over when you get COVID, right? So I'm, that hope and fear of 7 of Cups for Joe Biden. This was somebody who had to accept the fact that he was in no position to continue to run for president. His final outcome is the King of Wands. I think he's going to be endorsing Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, I think that he will be able to have time. I think that the surgery will be successful because the karma card is a 5 of Swords. The King of Wands moving into final outcome, he is free in the next 2 to 3 years to endorse Pete Buttigieg. This is a King of Wands, a fireman who's young and vibrant and healthy and hot and maybe at that time Pete feels like his marriage is a little bit more stable. His children are going to be a little bit older. I know that those were things that had him concerned. Maybe after 4 years, he's a little older, his family's a little older, and then he can step into that role. But this is looking a lot like he endorses that King of Wands. For me, King of Wands has always been a fiery, young, passionate, uh, If this is Newsom, I'd be surprised. It could be Newsom. Yeah, see, handing the torch, Ace of Cups. This is talking about him endorsing somebody, and it does not look like it's going to be Kamala Harris. And that could be because he knows if he's endorsing Newsom, that frees her up to run for governor of California. The opposition, the sun is coming out. Okay, interesting. The sun is coming out over his opposition. So it could be some kind of an expose coming out in those people that would wish him harm. A sun can burn or scorch. The fact that it's his opposition could be that there's some kind of an expose coming out about the Republicans. He's concerned, as are many of us, of the rise of anti-Semitism, fascism, etc. These are worrying times, right? We don't want to see this kind of crazy behavior, right? We want people to come together, have peace, love, kumbaya, share the space. God, I'm a child of Abraham. We got to share, people. We got to share the love, right? Stop acting like little kids, right? Got to learn to share the Jello, right? You guys ever seen those chocolate Jellos with the whipped cream? You ever seen what happens when you put one of those in front of 3 kids? It's like civil war, right? We got to share. Hopes and fears clarified, 2 of Swords. So yeah, this is a real closing down for Joe Biden. This is a real pulling back energy with that 2 of Swords over that 7 of Cups. And then the final outcome, he will choose an intellectual, a scholar, a young man who is a man of fire and passion. He's looking for his John F. Kennedy. That's really kind of how this looks. All right. So the next question I got a lot of, and I was not able to get back to it. I'm sorry, I wasn't able to get to everybody's questions the other day. Had to do with the future of Harris. Kamala, as many of you know, people want her to run for governor of California. People think that there's a really good chance she could become the governor of California. It would be the perfect place for her. We could see Newsom stepping down and running in 2028, 27, 28. It'd be 27, right? Help. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yes. So this is exciting. So this means that it would be is he a Sagittarius, Newsom? Because that would explain why we see that King of Wands moving in as being endorsed by Biden, because that would also heal the rift. Well, of course he can't endorse Harris because Harris is running for governor of California. I don't know. Let's talk about it. What do y'all think? I am drinking my Pete's coffee here. L'chaim, l'chaim, and cheers to you all. The sun is coming up. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more sun. If you want me to change the background, let me know. This is my sailor's background. I am a bit of a pirate in my own way. But not really a pirate, more an explorer. Yes, not a pirate. Yes, this is supposed to be a ship's hull. I have many different backgrounds here. Let's see here. We could do, Whimsy conventional house. Hey, I got a conventional house. I'm a conventional girl. You could do something like that. Or we could do Whimsy in the forest. Yes, whimsy in like an angelic. Well, this is kind of like a fairy forest. You can see I've got my butterflies flying around. You guys like that? All right. And then we also have whimsy in the Negev at the Beersheba Oasis, which I hope to build for the good people of the Negev and Beersheba, even though nobody at Beersheba University wants to talk to me, alas. But this is that design. What are you thinking? This is cool, right? You liking the fairy forest? What about the blue? I'm thinking the blue is kind of cute. Hmm. Well, I had my creative director go through everything, and Deborah, and we were talking about matching with the pink tones. Uh, so we used brandy and bourbon, brandy, bourbon, those colors, and matched it against my tone. So this is courtesy of Debbie Brady and I working with. Yes, so everything. It was matched by my creative director person. All right, so let's take a look. Isn't that cool? Yeah. We're going to now take a look at the future of Kamala Harris. I'm hoping. I think that look, it's the fourth most powerful economy in the world. She might as I mean, like this means she's the most powerful governor in the world. Would that be so bad? Think about all the power she's going to have. She'll be a thorn in the side of. Can she run for 3? I hope so. Oh my God. Let's do it. Kamala Harris, is she going to run? Please, yes, for governor. And then we'll check out Newsom. That would be I can't vote in California. Oh my God. I'm no longer able to vote in California. That's the only downside. Oh, she's going to win. They love her in California. Republicans will try and twist it, but it's not true. She's very, very popular. Okay. She has the money to run, and she's very confident. 9 of Pentacles, confident in the garden, and there's plenty of money to pay for her campaign. Yes, it is looking like we have Harris running as governor. Yes. Governor of California. People are happy about this. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Kamala. That's how I always say it. Kamala. It rhymes with Pamela. All right. So Ace of Pentacles as the base would be good. Like I said, it would indicate that she has money coming in, and then her karma card is 9 of Pentacles again, which is confidence in the garden. So I think she's feeling like she will do very well on the debate stage. Her first house is growing. She's growing a committee. 8 of Wands. Yeah. And her crossing card is to let everything go. Now, what does that mean that she has to let everything go? It could mean any mistakes that were made in the past, holding on to woe is me, or she has to let it go and focus on the campaign she's building right now and the campaign she's building in the future. What is above her? The sun. what she's sitting in, the moon. She's coming out of the thief's card, a feeling like somebody stole something, confused about a theft that took place. I wonder what that's about. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anybody want to say anything you feel about that? What do you think about the cards showing that she's confused about somebody committing a theft against her? Where does your mind go when you see that? Seven of Swords has to do with theft. The moon is what she's sitting in. So she's sitting in a mental state of confusion, like, what the heck was that? And also, the sun is coming out, which would indicate that some kind of exposure could be taking place regarding an issue that left her confused. And it was an issue that involved a theft. Can you all see that? Those of you who are learning tarot or who know tarot, can you see the cards? Do you see what I'm talking about? Let me try and show this a little bit better for everybody so you can see what I'm seeing. The third house traditionally is what a person sits in or marinates in. Sometimes it's difficult. We can't let things go. In this case, the person could be in a state of confusion, and then she has an aha moment with the sun moving into fourth position. Things are moving very, very rapidly with that first house for Kamala Harris being Eight of Wands, which is a rapid, the things are happening very rapidly. I think she's going to get a committee together very rapidly. Hangman is a crossing issue. It means that whatever happened in the past, she has to let it go and let the authorities, the FBI, whoever handle it, because this confusion, you can see that moon card moving into third position, and then aha, eureka, over the issue of confusion, something regarding a theft. Look at the economic support she receives as governor of California, with that Ace of Pentacles moving in as her base card, Karma card, Nine of Pentacles. She is positioned very well for this. She is positioned very well for this. Her near future entails 10 of Pentacles. They're saying that the longer that she holds out making an official announcement, the better, so that she can avoid having the knives out or wasting time being attacked. So until she has everything nicely organized, etc., she's not going to come out and publicly say that she's running for governor. 10 of Pentacles, like I said, it has a positive aspect and it has a negative aspect. What's the positive aspect? You're going to inherit something really great, right? So what is she inheriting? She's inheriting the governorship of California. What's the dark aspect of 10 of Pentacles? Dirty little family secrets, or that we have to keep something a secret, and it has to do with the issue of action reaction. We also look at cards in terms of energy of action reaction. The thief, keep it a secret from the thief, 10 of Pentacles. Very, very, very interesting. So this is the person that doesn't announce they're pregnant until they start showing in the fourth month, because they don't want to get hexed by a witch or get an evil eye or somebody sending bad vibes, right? So you don't talk about it. You don't tell anybody what you're up to. And that's exactly what these cards look like. That thief, hush, hush, 10 of Pentacles, don't tell them what's going on in the family. It's very interesting, that juxtaposition. How will this play itself out for her? Strongly advised not to say anything. At this time, she should continue to endorse the causes that she holds firm to, and that has to do with social justice. As many of you know, 6 of Pentacles is a social justice card, and the reason why it's considered the social justice card is a two or threefold. The first has to do with the scales of justice being balanced in the card. As you can see, The person is giving to that person which is needy, and that person which is not deserving does not receive. And so it has to do with being a benefactor, social justice. Social workers are often number sixes. Six is the number of the salt of the earth. And it would indicate that she has a very strong calling to be engaged in social justice. It stands in her seventh house. The seventh house in a Celtic cross is one's immediate environment. And so it's what we would call her, it's her wheelhouse. It's what she is very comfortable in, is Six of Pentacles. This is somebody who would be working at ACLU or the Anti-Defamation League or NAACP or something like that. She will always have that aspect. Harris always will be the Six of Pentacles. She'll have that. It would be interesting to do the numerology on her birthday to see how much six energy she has in her numerology on her birthday, and also in her name. Her opposition, the world, just like Biden. So just like Biden had opposition of the world in his eighth house, she has kind of taken that on. She has a real fear of the direction the world is going in. Same thing, anti-Semitism, fascism, hegemony, etc. So those are real concerns, that the direction the world is going in, and it's the same fear that Biden had. Interesting, for those of you who've been here from the beginning, we've been going for about 45 minutes, that when we did the cards for Biden, he had the same eighth house, the same opposition, feeling like he has the whole world in his hand, or the burden or the opposition being the world, the direction that the world is going in. How do y'all feel about that? To see that as somebody's opposition, to see them fighting the good fight with that nice seventh house of the Six of Swords. Those are powerful images that give us an insight into the psychology of this individual. How do you think she feels about her mentor being sick, Mr. Biden, President Biden? She's probably also confused and upset about that. What does this mean? It means the next generation has to step up to the plate, right? The hope and fear for her is poverty, abandonment, having to get away from people that drag her down, or a feeling that she has been locked out of the church. She fears that she has lost some of her base in the Democratic Party. She fears that she disappointed her constituents, that she disappointed the Democrats. To be locked out of the church, to be impoverished. I messed up. I didn't take it home for you. There's a feeling here of that she personally disappointed the American people by not winning. That she takes it upon herself. What more could I have done in order to have taken this win for the American people? So she takes it very hard. Like I said, it's interesting imagery, the Five of Pentacles. It has to do with being locked out of the church. The beggar who's dragging at your feet. Oh my God, I can't take care of you. I can barely take care of myself. The light is on in the church, but you can't find a door to get in. And so, this could be that she just feels terribly disappointed in herself, Harris, that she was not able to pull this off. What do you guys think about that? Would you feel the same way if you were her? What do you think that says about her level of conscious awareness of her responsibility to others? She's not blaming others, right? She's not doing that. She's saying, how did I fail the American people by not delivering a win? And so I think that that's a really healthy, responsible way that you would want a leader to respond, and not seeing herself as a victim of anything. At the same time, she does have this thief floating around in that fifth house that came around and created this confusion or this chaos. It's like, what is that about? And the final outcome is a judgment. She'll make a decision. I think she's holding off. That 10 of pentacles, like I said, has an aspect to keeping secret, hiding behind the pillar. Don't tell anyone. What are they whispering and gossiping about? And he's spying in the background. Remember, 10 of pentacles has that aspect. And the fact that it's associated with that thief man, I'm thinking she is playing very coy because she knows how dirty these folks play politics. But that judgment is very auspicious. And like I said, I mean, Ace of Pentacles is her base, Nine of Pentacles. She has underestimated how much people like her. I think she really felt like, wow, I really screwed up, man. I really thought you got that I was communicating better. Like, this is how she's viewing it. She has strong ethics. The strength is over the Sixth of Pentacles for Harris, which again would indicate very strong values, a very strong sense of justice and fairness. Her opposition, the world, is that the world is confused, that there's simply too much disinformation, too much fake news, fake media, and she sees chaos and confusion as being the main problem. Yeah, I would agree with her. Seven of Cups, disinformation, people that, excuse me, believe everything they hear, don't know how to fact check, use a couple different supercomputers and see where they contradict. I have multiple supercomputers I use, and they usually agree on most things, but sometimes you'll get slight. But, it's interesting that her concern for the world as her biggest opposition is Seven of Cups, which is to be in the cloud or live in a fantasy world or to be in your cups or even an addiction. Yeah. In love in a cult. It's interesting. Have you ever gazed at the Seven of Cups, which does have a drug aspect? Cups can be drinking. They have to do with emotional issues. But if you look at the Seven of Cups, it's everything a person could be seduced by, everything from phantoms and ghosts to the sexy guy on the left over there, my ex, whatever, the jewelry, the snakes of seduction, the crowns of power, clouds in the, uh, uh, castles in the sky, jewels. I love the snakes, snakes which have to do with being hypnotized or seduced, I just love this imagery. And like I said, cups often have to do with issues of emotions. So that is rather interesting that she sees that as the great problem of the world right now. The hope and fear over the issues that she will not be received well. Ace of Cups is to receive the offer. No, we want you back. We want you for governor. You do? I really screwed things up. Oh, come on. It was one election and, you were up against a jerk and they, I think she doesn't realize how well she'll do in California. Ace of Cups, again, very auspicious. It would indicate to be given an offer or love. And over the issue of justice, 10 of Cups, the family is reunited. So, the happy family, the 10 of Cups, 9 of Cups is the desire to have all of your wishes. And then everything I wished for comes true. And then 10 of Cups is the reuniting of the family. The prodigal son returns. These are the images we think about, happily married with the family in the garden. So it would again indicate that most likely she will be reunited with her party, her family, and I think she's going to win and be the next governor of California. You guys want to talk about that? Anybody opposed to her being the next governor? Would you rather see somebody else? than her. Who would be your pick if it wasn't her? Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. We'll do Gavin Newsom next. Mm-hmm. Okay, so by popular demand, the next question had to do with Gavin Newsom. As many of you know, Gavin Newsom is currently the governor of California. We just did the cards for Biden, showing that he was exhausted, etc., most likely because of his health challenges, but that he would actually be able to successfully treat himself. And for the next couple of years, most likely would be finishing up his biography, etc. We also saw something interesting, that Biden was going to be endorsing some man of fire and passion. We are pretty sure it's most likely going to be either Buttigieg. I'll check him next. I see all your notes. I'm making notes. I see it back there. Somebody had talked about Pete Buttigieg. Yes. Would it be Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg? Gavin Newsom out of California, if he steps down, what do we know about him? We know that he is a very strong debater. He's a very strong debater. He is the ex-husband of the former fiance of Don Jr., which is weird. I saw them breaking up, but it didn't happen for like 3-4 years. I mean, uh, what is her name? Gloria. Da, da, da. They made her the ambassador of Greece. She likes gorgeous Greek men on the Greek Isles, and she'll probably be very happy. But so he does have, Gavin Newsom does have a little bit. Anybody can remember her name? Gloria. Da, da, da. I think I got a number. That's a great song. Um, yeah, so let's take a look and see Gavin Newsom. Any thing in his closet that's going to hurt? His ex-wife hated him. Yes, she was very, very mad at her ex after their breakup. He must have cheated or something, because she was really mad. Who knows? All right, let's look at Gavin Newsom. The future of Gavin Newsom. Kimberly Guilfoyle. No, Kimberly Gaff Guilfoyle. Kimberly Guilfoyle, yes. Well, she must have changed. What can I say? Goes to show you that people can change. Gavin Newsom. All right, things could be going very quickly for him. And he's got a Queen of Pentacles. So he has some advisor possibly working with him. Interesting, Queen of Pentacles. We could be seeing him hiring his press secretary, or the person that's overseeing his campaign could be a woman, because he's got that Queen of Pentacles as his right hand moving in. His first house is King of Cups. Is he a water sign? What sign is he? Yeah, she was with Don Jr., but then they broke up. So King of Cups would indicate an emotional man, but also that was Joe Biden was also the bridge over troubled water. The crossing card for him, Two of Swords. So The biggest accusation against him is that he can only focus on one thing at a time. So if he's running a race, then he cannot be your boyfriend, your partner, or anything. Two of Swords would be single-minded, very focused. Like I said, he's a very strong debater. He's good looking, like a Kennedy. There are reasons why people would want to endorse his campaign. A Two of Swords would be a closed heart, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So this guy is focused, similar to other campaigns we've seen where the person doesn't want to gossip, they don't want to get sidetracked. They may even put their personal relationships on hold in order to win. What is above him is the Hermit. So this is somebody who's going to be doing his homework. He actually may have even thought of having Harris as his running mate. If, it's like, well, maybe I should have her as a running mate if I win, like maybe that's a good use of Harris. So it's interesting to see his relationship with Harris. Like, well, if I win, you want to be VP again? There's almost this energy here there that's kind of interesting. Over the issue, King of Swords would indicate going into battle. It's an air sign. It has a Libra. Oh, he's Libra. That makes sense because King of Swords is an air sign energy moving into third position. And that would indicate that he is getting into a sharp, intellectual, ready to go into battle. So this is an emotional person who's put his emotions aside, Two of Swords, and now he's going into the King of Swords, logic and scholarship. That's like Aquarian energy too. It's just a very, very to the point. He's coming out of Knight of Wands, which is fast moving. Like Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands, remember, fire burns, wands burn. It can often be fighting or battle. Territorial, wands are territorial. And he's entering into the time of smooth operator, Knight of Cups, which is the knight on the white horse. Dark aspect can be someone who's a schmoozer, right? So this is somebody who has a combination of being very intellectual and can be seductive in order to manipulate, which is not necessarily bad if they're running, if you're on their side. Kennedy had this ability to charm. Knight of Cups combined with the Hermit would indicate that this is somebody who can charm in strategic ways. God, with a King of Swords in his third house, this guy is a brainiac. And his fourth house, the Hermit, scholar. If a lover comes up, then I would say he has trouble with fidelity. Seventh house, Magician. He has a lot of power and the ability to manipulate. Sorry, but this is what the cards say. His opposition is Seven of Pentacles. So he's having some economic issues with too many restrictions in California. We talked about the green economy and how even the green economy is getting restricted. We've got to loosen up their work. It could harm him in the future, too many restrictions. Well, to build a greenhouse, shouldn't take 2 years. When people have lost their homes because of fire and they have to take years to get permits, and you're building homes that are eco-friendly, that's just like pointless. So this is why reform has to happen. It's no longer serving the environment or the people. It's interesting that it came as the opposition, the new green economy. If the economy is green and doesn't produce pollution, then you can pull back on the restrictions. That's the point. You only have restrictions if you're producing pollution. If you're not producing pollution, then you can pull back on the restrictions. And that's the thing that California is grappling with right now. And they will overcome it with their housing crisis. They have to. People need a place to live, and people have lost their homes. The hope and fear at this time is Three of Wands, the great new horizon, to take on too much. This is somebody, I know I can win. This is somebody who has a lot of confidence, Newsom, because he has that magician card there. I know I can win. I know I can take it, but do I want to take it? I can see why it would be very difficult to have a relationship with somebody who is this confident, this aggressive, and this smart, and this focused, and this able to flirt. It's not that he's a bad person, it's just that he's able to single mindedly do what he has to do in order to win. And then the final outcome for him is grief over that which he has lost. Could indicate that he doesn't win, that he gets close and he loses to somebody else like Pete Buttigieg. I saw the question earlier. Yes, I will do Pete Buttigieg next. But this grief card coming in as his final outcome because he has got such strong confidence cards moving in. Six of Wands, opposition. He's definitely got the funding, hopes and fears, and then the Empress. You know what? I want to just check now because you guys had asked about Pete Buttigieg, and I think it's relevant to the story in the sense that before, when we had looked at Pete Buttigieg's cards, it had come back. I don't know if I spelt that right. I apologize. It had come back that he was not wanting to be VP or anything like that because of commitments he had had to his family. Maybe now, if the family's 4 years older, he may feel a little bit like he's able to run again. Let's take a look, at the future of Pete Buttigieg. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I'm slowly getting close to 100,000, and it will be wonderful when that happens. Thank you so much for the best in unbiased tarot reading. Trying to be as unbiased as possible here. All right, let's take a look. Pete Buttigieg, is he running for? I'm excited. I'm excited. Is he running for president? I feel like he would do better in all 50 states, don't you? My impression so far from these cards is that the most likely person to become the next governor of California is going to be Kamala Harris, and not Porter. Katie Porter, I'd love to see her as a senator. And Gavin Newsom, he's got a lot of confidence going into it, but I don't know. I don't know. I did see a man getting endorsed by Biden, and that could be because Harris is running for governor, and so she's not in the race. Okay, let's take a look. Buttigieg presents as the King of Wands. What do you think, folks? Is it ultimately Buttigieg that's going to get endorsed by Biden? I think so. What sign is Buttigieg? Does anybody know? He's presenting as the King of Wands and Knight of Swords, a bloody battle that does not faze him. So the Republicans are terrified of him. This is the guy that will happily go on Fox and just have a normal conversation with people. Knight of Swords is a brutal battle. This is helter-skelter, violent, cray-cray kind of an energy. It could indicate that his karma card is that he has to do a great battle. I don't know. How do you feel about that? I don't know if I like that. That's it's like they, it's dogs fighting in the streets kind of campaigning. Also, King of Wands goes to war. Remember, King of Wands is all about territory. I've always seen him as the Knight of Pentacles. I've never seen him as the King of Wands. So it'll be interesting. Does he have a Leo rising possibly or something like that? Because he's presenting here as this territorial king, and also this extremely violent fight lay ahead for him. it's sometimes the time meets the man, and there's so much attacks, so much fascism right now, attacks against the LGBTQ community, etc., that he may feel that he has no choice, he has to run. Just as Obama was the right man for the job, people felt like you have no choice. It's like he was pushed into it, even though he himself didn't think, I'm not running. You have this kind of thing happening maybe to Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, interesting though that he's depicted here as the fighter rather than the calm Knight of Pentacles, kind of like Obama in the sense that he's this calm person. His first house is the Devil card, addiction, codependency, or an inability to let go of an addiction regarding issues of poverty or fear of abandonment of the church. It could be that people don't approve of his lifestyle. He is a member of the LGBTQ community. He's married, he has children. This idea that the devil and that he's been locked out of a church could be that they run a hostile campaign against him because of that. It's certainly not how I would view him. But this is imagery of the sinner who is locked out of the church due to his devilish ways, which is weird because I think he's a Christian and goes to church, right? Isn't he Lutheran or something? Yeah, there are many Christian churches that are friendly to the LGBTQ community. This is like kind of only the like extreme sex, right? So you have this kind of fear of being locked out of the church, which is what Harris had, issues of being attacked. What's interesting is that he has the Empress coming in his fourth house, which means a creative time moving in for his future. I always feel that this guy does not want to run. I always get this Nine of Swords. From his perspective, it's his marriage. The devil is his marriage, codependency, addiction. Every time, which is not necessarily bad. You look at happily married couples for 40 years and they say, well, I listen to all this advice and then I just happily go back to my codependent marriage, right? She needs me, I need her, right? So you feel when you go in and you do a profile of Buttigieg or me as just a remote viewer being Pete Buttigieg, and I find my voice changes. He's very easy for me to be. I find he's very available. My marriage is really important to me. I can't survive. This is my life. Like his husband and his kids are everything to him. And he says it over and over and over again. The fact that the Nine of Swords sits in his third house, this is a guy who's afraid he's going to lose it. I cannot lose my family. I will lose. If I lose my family, I've lost everything. And I really think that that's the issue. More than it being a homophobic issue or something, this is somebody who truly cannot survive without his family. And I think that's fine. I actually, he's got that wolf energy, married for life. This is somebody who literally is married for life. He got you wrapped around his little finger. That's the impression I get. Like he is so in love with his partner that it's like, you can see it every time you go into his car. It's like the Nine of Swords and my voice, and I get nervous. Please don't ask me. Please don't ask me to be the VP. I mean, like, I know what you're going to ask me. Meeting with Harris, and and I know about your situation. Like, can you find somebody else? That's why I knew that Harris was not going to ask him, because of this thing that you always get when you go with Buttigieg. This man will not make it if his marriage ends, he won't make it. Something must have happened, like maybe they went through a rough snag when he went, "I'm gonna go be a celebrity politician," and maybe it put such a stress on his marriage that it shocked Pete Buttigieg out of his, uh, wanting to be this famous politician and getting his priorities straight and saying, "Look, this is the most important thing to me is my family, and please ask somebody else." That Nine of Swords, you know, like I said, third house is what we sit in, it's what we marinate in. And to have that be in his third house, like, oh man, you know, what he's coming out of, being offered money, he, he would rather be a consultant and advisor and write books because he can do that from home while taking care of his kids. He can write up reports doing research. That's what he would like to do. More time at home with the family. So they're offering him more money. Also, I see writing books. Empress is creative stuff. Um, yeah, Newsom can't be governor again. But if he could, we're just asking theoretically. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Seven of Pentacles. He has a lot of economic opportunities, Buttigieg. His family is the opposition. I knew that was going to happen because every time I come in, the opposition to running is always the family. My family, my family is everything to me. Doesn't surprise me that his opposition, eighth house is your opposition or your issue, is the Ten of Cups, his marriage. Mm-hmm. Isn't that nice though that he cares that much? Uh, Hopes and fears, Wheel of Fortune. Is this his time? Like it's his time, and then the world. I think he's very likely to become the president. He'll be the first LGBTQ openly gay. He's not going to be the first gay president because there's a lot of evidence that a lot of them were gay. But supposedly Lincoln had a partner, but who cares? The point is that it will be open, which is nice. He gets the world. He's most likely to be elected as president. Most likely, he's going into war mode with the King of Wands as his base. His clarification, his marriage, Hierophant. Hierophant, people had asked me if I could talk about gay cards are there cards for gay marriage? And the answer is yes. The Hierophant is two men taking vows before the priest. This doubles as a card of gay marriage. One's ethos, higher ethics, and also love between male partners. Again, it stands as his seventh house. His marriage is very important to him. His opposition, the Chariot, the race or running, and the issue of his marriage. His cards are very easy for me to read. Hopes and fears, Two of Swords, that he cannot do it all. The closed heart, same issue that came up for Newsom. And then his final outcome, Eight of Wands. He will be announcing his run for presidency, Eight of Wands. I just feel that his marriage reaches a level of maturity where it's going to be able to handle this, and maybe his marriage couldn't handle it before. But based on these cards, as it stands now, the most likely next president of the United States will be Pete Buttigieg. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Surprised? Well, better than Newsom. Newsom's cards looked like, despite how much confidence he goes into the race, it doesn't end that way. And Harris, it looks like she snags the governorship. Yeah. Katie Porter, also great. Do I see her having a future in the governorship? Let's go ahead. We can take a look and see if Katie Porter is actually. I'm just curious because I like her too, but those Harris cards, dang, were they good. You know why I think people like Harris is they like the idea of justice, and they like a lot of what she stands for. No, I think she'd be California governor since she's a resident of California. I think she would be able to reestablish because yeah. All right, let's take a look at Katie Porter and if she's looking at possibly a position in the Senate or in the governorship. What is the future of Katie Porter? I'm so glad I'm not involved in politics. Thought about it when I was younger, like, no way, man. I'm not ever going to run, not here or in Israel. Though the Knesset looks kind of interesting, though it would drive me crazy. All right, Katie Porter. Okay, Three of Wands and Eight of Wands, both auspicious in the next couple of months. It looks like she's going to be running for something. Oops, I'm going to have to shuffle again. I forgot some of my cards. Oops, sorry about that. All right, let me try one more time. Katy Perry. I keep saying Katy Perry. Katie Porter. Excuse me, Katie Porter. Katie Porter's future. Oh, smooth waters lay ahead. She's confused about her future. She doesn't know what she's going to be running for, but she's got a great career. Six of Swords moving into the base of the matter. The next several years, smooth waters could indicate that she's staying in Congress, or, but I'm seeing stability. Flee like a thief her current situation, which involves her partnerships. So somebody may have tried to be involved in her business, and then she had to get away from it. She's got fleeing a partnership here. Maybe somebody tried to bribe her, and she had an ethical problem. You know, somebody wanting to endorse her campaign. There is a decision she has to make about possibly running as VP. You know, say Buttigieg gets it and then he picks her as VP or something like this, because she's got a decision she has to make regarding the King of Wands. It could be that she joins somebody else's campaign. That is interesting to see her as a possible VP. It would be better for her. She's getting a lot done in Congress, and it would be wise for her to stay in Congress with these cards because she's got smooth waters for many years, and she's also got the Knight of Pentacles coming in, which would be slow, steady wins the race. And so for those reasons, I would say that Katie Porter is, in a way, would do great if she just stayed in Congress, to be honest. Well, it's just that her cards are so auspicious if she doesn't do anything, to be honest with you. I mean, if she just stayed in Congress, she would be getting a lot done. Oops, I just lost a light. Ace of Swords, you know, opposition, the Sun, hopes and fears, Page of Swords, Nine of Pentacles. Honestly, she has a really great future, whether she runs for anything or not. I mean, if she stayed in Congress, it would be great. I mean, her cards are great for Congress. If she leaves Congress, it could be, is she an attorney? Is she an attorney? I know she studied economics, but this is showing a future in that's legal activism, and a very great future. Yeah. Stay in Congress and continue to fight for changing the laws. I mean, justice is our final outcome with a Nine of Pentacles. That's confidence in the garden and justice. Stay where you're at, girl. Don't change anything. We need her in Congress. I wouldn't move her. The only time movement comes up is Eight of Cups over an issue of inverted Five of Pentacles, which could be that she is encouraged to go into something that has to do with the legal profession. That's why I'm wondering if she was a lawyer or something like that. Okay. So she could join a committee in Congress that is a better use of her skills as an attorney, or moving towards the articles of impeachment or something like that, just because that justice card comes out for her. And her opposition, Five of Pentacles, if anything, people want her to stay. I would say she's highly popular. I mean, Five of Pentacles is poverty, and to be cast out, it's inverted. No, honey, if anything, you're too successful. And for that reason, I would be wary to remove her from Congress with these types of cards. Also, she can stay for unlimited terms, whereas if she runs for something else, it would be limited. If we put ego aside, where can she be of the best service? It would be to go back into Congress. Yeah. Some of the districts have changed. I think her district moved into another district or something like that. I don't know. But I would say that she should think about going to another district and running again. Yeah. All right, everybody. Did you have fun with a little bit of morning coffee, a little bit of tarot? I thought it might be fun to hang out since my sleep was a little bit crazy, and I'm catching up since uh, I was away. All right, if you'd like to have a tarot reading with me, you can do so by going to Booksy and scheduling your phone reading through Booksy. And then I just pick up the phone and call you. Just leave your number and I call you. It's real simple. I think the information is below this video. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate it. Yeah, Harris did great. Her cards, I think she's going to win the governorship. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.